It's 12 minutes away from 7 o'clock. If you're about to head out the house, a very, very important discussion regarding our power situation in the country. We are stage 3 at the moment, stage 4 again from later this afternoon. So the bad news, I'm afraid, is going to continue for all of us. Power cuts are in place for at least the next 18 months. Now, that's not us saying it. That's according to the man at the top of the pile, Eskom CEO de Ruyter. The utility appearing before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts yesterday, or SCOPA, if you prefer the acronym. De Ruyter says there would be lower levels of blackouts if Eskom hadn't burned through all of its diesel budget. He also shot down any hopes of the utility delaying this implementation of that tariff increase, 18.65%. Well, let's get some reaction then from the Chairperson of Parliament's Energy Committee Chair, Sahlulele Luzipo. Mr. Luzipo, good morning to you. Always appreciate your time. So a lot of hard truths coming out from Eskom yesterday. What did you make of all of it?
Good morning to you, Gareth, and the viewership. Look, I must say that one, we will leave this to the meeting that we hope to have with Eskom between tomorrow and Friday, and probably get into the details of what they have raised in relation to the current status. Obviously, it is an untenable and a situation that we don't think that it is something that South Africans must be comfortable with. All what I could say is that at least at this stage, there are issues that we think, for me, we need to get answers for. For an example, one of the issues in relation to acts of sabotage, including the issue of logistics, is that in terms of in the public space or in the public sector, you've got what one would say is an asset that is within the location of the portfolio where Eskom is. That is the issue with regards to Transnet. What becomes the role of Transnet, and how much engagement would have taken place between Eskom and the Transnet in relation to logistics, so that we can cut short the acts of sabotage. Secondly, if you've got a problem like the CEO was raising yesterday with regards to the issue of diesel supply, because there's a shortage of financial resources, the question will be, if that is the case, you've got a state-to-state engagement that can take place. For an example, Petro SA is one of the institutions that have been established in the context of feedstock. Now, has that action taken place or interaction taken place between Eskom and Petro SA, and make internal arrangements? For an example, to say on the allocation of the financials for 2023-2024, couldn't that be made also to work in a manner that when that allocation is being made, Petro SA they could offset what they owe at Petro SA on. So it's things that we have to engage on and look at different options, because in my view, it would be easy if those two public entities are also able to interact amongst themselves to try and find solutions.
Because I imagine then, as well as the Energy Committee Chair, that there's a lot of honesty that came out. It seems a lot of honesty and blatant honesty from the outgoing CEO. When it comes to talking about the previous administration, de Ruyter, Mr. Sahlulele, saying that, Mr. Luzipo, I'm sorry, saying that it was the previous administration's fault. We wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for the previous administration's fault. I imagine you'll be asking questions, what has de Ruyter done in his time to try and fix all that since he's taken over as CEO? Or is that an unfair question?
Look, I think the question of honesty and reality are two different issues. You will recall that, and it was the CEO when he came in who said that the question of load shedding will be a matter of 6 months, and a resolution of the matter will be found. And we can say that we can't say at that time he was not honest. He could have been honest, but the truth is that he may not have understood the extent and the depth of the problem. Secondly, the issues that he is raising are issues that some will argue and say the points that you are raising, they require just strong management actions that can take place. I've made examples even in the past and said the points that you are having there, they are institutional. They are not policy related. And once you've got such actions being taken in areas where there have been failures and apply strong measures of consequence management, those issues can be addressed. I wonder, for me, I'm of the view that we need to move beyond just saying who to blame and say what has to be done. Even if you've got someone to blame, the reality is that we must find solutions, including now with the CEO. The current CEO is on his way out. In a period of few months, if one understands correctly. And we can't sit and say now he has not done 1, 2, and 3. We have to address the question: what has to be done?
Yeah,
now?
where do we take this? Where do we take this next to actually try and fix the? Where do we take this next to try and fix the problems? Sahlulele, last question to you, just briefly, if you can. What is the committee's view on this call for this tariff increase to not be put into place now? Eskom is saying they need it. The president is saying maybe now is not the right time. What's the view of the committee as I say goodbye to you?
Look, I think the question again, there may be a need for it, but I think the circumstances and the environment that exercise will be affected may not be able to sit comfortable if it is effected. In terms of how NERSA would have come to that conclusion, you will recall that what NERSA concluded on is not what they had requested in the initial stages. I think for me there has to be a deeper discussion in terms of the formula and the circumstances under which tariff increases can be effected. It can't just be a matter of a recurrence that every year there has to be an increase. I think there is a deeper rigorous process that has to take place first before those can be effected.
Well, I look forward to hearing what comes out of this meeting with Eskom when it does take place. Sahlulele Luzipo, Chairperson of Parliament's Energy Committee. He is the chair for that committee. My thanks to Sahlulele for joining us this morning. So yesterday appearing before Scopa was Eskom, and as we're hearing, going to be appearing along with the Energy Committee as well. We'll be following that one very closely in the next few days. We're heading up quickly to 7 o'clock. If you didn't catch your headlines earlier, they're on the way for you next.